Hello and welcome to Uncovering Real Estate, brought to you by the Brampton Real Estate Board. I'm your host, Sarabjit Rana. Welcome to today's show. We've got an action-packed one. We're talking about a lot of interesting things. Please say hello to my guest, Laura Lizer, former past president of the Canadian Real Estate Association. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you here. So we're talking about home renos, resale value, and trends. Pretty important.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Good conversation.
Very much so, because they're all very important topics, right?
Absolutely.
We all think about, what do I have to do to make my house sellable, right?
What do I have to do to make money?
Yeah, what do I have to do? You know, when you watch those home improvement shows and they're going, oh, well, if you invest X amount here, then you're going to get an X amount of return here. And so what do people do quickly? You know,
They renovate.
They renovate.
But they do it at the last minute. They don't do it for themselves.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, because, and isn't that interesting? That must be a psychological fact, right? They do it for when it's time to leave.
And not for when they're wanting to renovate for themselves.
Right.
You know, when we sell them a home and they move in, we'll say, well, you could do this, and this to this home, and you're going to love it, and it'll make it worth more. And then they wait for a few years, and then they do it before they move out.
And that's probably such a good point. And I think it's almost like a bit of a blanket statement, because everybody goes, oh yeah, I can envision this and this and this, and then you move in and the boxes are there, and you're like, oh, honey, let's just relax right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything right now, right?
Happens all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my question. You know, because quite often a lot of the scenarios that we're giving you are information that we've received from our viewers who have called in or written in and said, these are my questions. You know, so what's the deal on it? So let's say someone's house needs a new bathroom and roof, and they're thinking, should I do it before I sell it, or should we lower the value of the house when we sell it, and then it's not a big deal? Does that make sense?
Oh, it so makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm chuckling because some of the questions I'm sure you're going to ask will likely be scenarios that we've all in real estate have lived
gone through them.
If somebody has a house that they're thinking of selling and they're questioning whether or not they should fix the roof, for one thing, we'll start with the roof.
Yeah.
Some people will think, well, if I put a new roof on and I pay $6,000 for a roof, say it's a smaller home, and I pay $6,000 for a roof, am I going to be making $6,000 more when I sell it? Well, no. However, if there's a house down the road or that's comparable to yours, and you have the old roof and they have the new roof, I think somebody's going to want the house with the new roof more than they're going to want yours if it's priced the same and it's a comparable product. So it's more or less, it's going to add value, but it's not necessarily going to be financial value.
Okay.
It could be for resale.
So sorry to interrupt. Is it fair to say that they almost can negotiate a minus $6,000 if the roof isn't done and they want the house?
Well, it depends, because if I'm coming in to list a property and it needs a new roof, I'm going to say to the sellers, I'm going to say, so you know a buyer's going to come in. They're going to have to do a roof, they're going to have to do a bathroom, you have to paint, and it needs all new flooring. I'm going to calculate what it is. So when you look at what you're wanting to list it at, if they spend that money, and is it going to be worth that down the road? So this is where your house should be sitting. But if you want to go and do the roof yourself, because a roof is a maintenance thing. It's like a furnace, a roof, like you need them to I guess,
to
live
manage,
in the house.
To live.
But the bathroom is another entity that, you know, kitchens, bathrooms, lots of windows, they sell. They sell.
It's what makes the house sell, right?
We walk into that house, and as women especially, we walk in. If you see a beautiful new kitchen,
that's it. The house is
I don't
sold
care what the
almost
basement
right there.
looks like.
That's right.
I don't care if there's a shop in the backyard.
That's right. That's right.
But no, bathrooms, yes, because average homeowner who's coming in and purchasing, especially first-time buyers, they don't have the money to come in unless they're going to do an enhancement on their mortgage. But once, like you said, once they move in and their boxes are there and they've started unpacking and they're all settled, they don't think their bathroom's that bad.
No. Somehow it's a whole different story.
Because they have their stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they'll take the money and they'll invest it in something else.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, when people ask questions like this, they really have to recognize what it means to them. And they've got to get that advice from someone who's trusted.
They have to talk to a professional. I just want to add to that just a little bit more, because when somebody's asking about doing a bathroom or some renovations before selling, it's also dependent on, are you selling an investment property? Are you selling a multi-unit, like a duplex or a triplex, that they're going to have tenants? Or are you selling a home to a first home buyer that's going to want to actually do a little bit themselves?
Right.
Or are you selling a second or third home buyer, like a nice 4-bedroom, larger property that really their expectations are, you know, nicer kitchen, granite countertops, hardwood floors? It all depends
Different
on the
scenarios.
product and the different buyer.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very important that you said that. Okay, I really like this one. We had someone send this in to us. All right, so new deck. So envision this new deck on the house last year. Okay, cool. But didn't think that they needed a permit because on the weekend his buddies came over to help him out. That's okay, right?
Oh, these buddies.
Yeah,
Where
his
are they coming
buddies.
from?
Yeah.
No,
So that's okay.
No, it's not.
How, but he wanted to
Okay.
enhance his back,
Yeah.
his backyard. So
Yeah,
That's-
I'm not saying that it's okay that your buddies came and did it. I think it's great. However,
yeah,
so when you go to sell your property, if you didn't get a building permit, then that's done. However, when you go to sell your property, you need to disclose to whoever's coming in to buy your property that, oh, by the way, we didn't get a building permit.
Oh, really?
And I'll tell you why. Because how do you know that you haven't encroached onto the neighbor's property? Or how do you know that you're not too close to the fence line because you can only build so many inches or feet away from a fence line? Or how do you know that you're not building it over a drainage swale that clearly states you're not allowed to build over a drainage swale?
But isn't it okay? So some of the rules that, and I use the term rules because they're not rules, but quite often it's those very same people who say, well, neither neighbor has complained, nobody's called the city, so I think I'm good.
It's not about the neighbor.
It's not about the neighbor.
It's about doing what's right.
Yeah.
We have permits for a reason. So for example, if I've gone and done a deck and I have a building permit and I'm going to list my property, I'm very happy to be able to say, oh yeah, you can go and check with the city. Everything is registered. I've got my permits for this, this, and this. And then they can move on to maybe what the next issue will be when you're
Right.
trying to sell the house.
Right.
It's just one less headache to have to worry about.
And so the costs that are involved with getting the permit from the city are actually
Minimal.
They're minimal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Compared to the fact that if I'm coming in, I want to buy your property and I find out there's no permit. So whether it's for a deck or whether it's for having new windows put in because there was no windows, or you took wall, like if
Or
you
an
have
extension or whatever it may be.
An addition. If you
Yeah.
didn't get permits, I don't think I'm willing to take on that responsibility. You know, and I mean, as a realtor, I will go in, I'll double check, I'll see if there's been any permits pulled, and whether or not they've had final inspections on them.
Okay, hold that thought because I got some more scenarios for you. We're going to be right back.